We're in today with the AMD RAdeon RX 590. This is a 2018 video card with 8 GB of VRAM GDDR5. It's got 1560 MHz on the core clock and 2100 MHz on the memory clock. 256 bits bus width, DirectX 12, and we're gonna pair it up with this i7 7th gen with 4 cores and 8 threads. Let's jump in a couple of games and see how this video card is still holding. Alright, let's start with XDefiant and see how it's running with maximum details. The video card is actually doing great, you know, 100% load on the core, but it's still holding. I maxed out the fan because I want the GPU cool as hell in order to get the proper performance, you know, from the video card. So I will say this is an adequate performance overall. Now, if you're interested on actually lowering the details and getting more FPS, it will be ideal. But I just wanted to show you how it works with maximum details. If you're interested on achieving that FPS in order to get how shall I say, the right FPS for the monitor, you can do it. Overall performance here with this system is doing great. It's using 330 watts consumption from the wall. It's great, you know. The CPU side is okay, 8.7 gig of system RAM being utilized, under 50 degrees on the CPU, and yeah, 50-60% load on the CPU. It's doing a fantastic job overall. It's not utilizing more than 4 gig of VRAM. That is good, even if you're interested on playing with something that is similar with 580 that has 4 gig of VRAM or 570. You don't need an 8 gig model in order to play this game. 3.8 is actually maximum apparently for this. With maximum details, so on maximum details, it's doing a fantastic job. There is no complaint here when it comes to achieving good performance from your hardware, you know. But if we're jumping in Crossout with this video card, you can actually see the system is being utilized, 330 watts consumption from this computer with this video card on. It's using 3 gig of VRAM from the whole video card and maximum load on the core. That's actually normal considering how nice the game looks. It looks fantastic. I like it. There's so many details here and I cannot complain. Let's see if we can actually do a kill here and assist our brothers. I like how it's working. The system itself is not very stressed. It's doing exactly what I want when it comes to gaming. Over 100 FPS on average. That's a good, very good number, and I got like 91 on minimals. Those are the real numbers I want from this computer. In Dota with maximum details on 1080p, you can actually see the GPU. It's doing the job, you know. It's got 80 FPS on average. I want to see the minimals in this occasion because it's going to be very interesting. I'm not going to judge now the average here, but I know it's going to be really good overall. Does it work? Yeah, it's working. 90 FPS on average, 52 minimals, 58, 59, 60 on 1%. This is a good number if you are interested on actually playing Dota with an old video. I mean, it's not an old video card, RX 590, you know. Considering I refuse to say that this RX 590 it's old. I refuse to say it. No, it's not old, because I remember the day I bought it from work and I said I need a brand new video card so I can play with it, you know, just in case, you know. But it doesn't matter. When I bought it, it was not long ago. 2 gig of VRAM only on maximum details 1080p. This is the GPU that I wanted in my PCs to play Dota. That's it. 240 watts consumption from the computer. The i7 is holding pretty well with less than 50% load on the core with 9.8 gig of system RAM. That's actually good. But if we're jumping in Apex with maximum details, you can actually see the game is doing a fantastic job. It looks great. You know, I'm actually surprised how nice it's working. But it's not a big surprise because the video card is great, you know. Maximum core load, it's using 4.9 gig of VRAM, so there is a chance here you are going to be utilizing this video card at maximum. 68 on average. It's doing the job super nice, and I can't complain here because there is room for improvement if you want to do a proper setup, you know. So keep playing the game, and I want to see how much VRAM is using, and in this case he's using 5.3 gig of VRAM from this video card with maximum core load. It's keeping the CPU too on its toes, because it's in this case you can actually see it's reaching in some cases 90% load on the CPU. It's utilizing the CPU. It's being utilized, and I like how it looks, and I like how it's working, the whole system. The whole system is taking 340 watts consumption average, you know, and that's a good number if you're taking in consideration this video card, this performance. But if we're jumping in Farlight, you can actually see that the GPU is doing a fantastic job with this computer. I maxed out everything here in the game in order to get the best quality to see if I can load up the video card. 4.3 GB of VRAM on the GPU, maximum core load on the video card, and yeah, it's doing the job, you know, but it's being utilized. The temperature is okay, 55, 54 degrees in this situation with maximum load. The CPU, it doesn't get stressed in this situation, but it's utilizing some system RAM, 7.7 gig of system RAM, and it's giving me the best averages. I mean, averages is good. When I see 45, 50 FPS on average on minimal, I will say thank you, because I know that is not very achievable, you know, to get good numbers. I will take this because majority of the time it will be, yeah, sometimes not okay. If we're taking PUBG to this system with 1080p and 120% render scale with maximum details enabled, I think this game actually shows me how the computer and the GPU is working. You can actually see that the game is utilizing 5.2 gig of VRAM. It's actually nice performance overall. It's not that bad considering only 55 FPS on average I get from this video card on maximum details. In order to play PUBG with maximum details, you need this 8 gig of VRAM model in order to push this game with this amount of FPS. I will not use it like this. I will use it with less render scale and maybe some low details. I will do a custom profile, but I just wanted to show you how the video card is working with maximum details, because then you know that if you lower the details, then you will have the best, how should I say, opportunity to improve it by lowering the quality. But if we're jumping in Counter-Strike with this computer, you can actually see the system is doing really well, over 100 FPS on average. I want to see how much minimal I get from this computer, but on this occasion you can actually see there's some spikes here and there. And yeah, the system is doing actually great with 8.7 gig of system RAM use. There is between 40 and 60-70% load on the CPU. It's okay, you know, based on the temperature. I will say this computer is actually capable of entertaining Counter-Strike on the from the performance side. You know, on the GPU side, you can actually see it's using 4.7 gig of VRAM. That's actually fantastic with maximum core load. So the temperature needs to be good. But like I said, I've seen this multiple times that Counter-Strike doesn't heat up the video card, even though the core is on maximum 48, 49. But I had to put maximum fan speed in order to get the best temperature on this occasion. Damn. Okay, let's jump in Cyberpunk and see how the system is holding. So I started with 1080p with no upscaling, and I think on low details you can actually see that the GPU and the system is doing fantastic. This is an RX 590 and I'm expecting this video card to actually do the job. 60 FPS on average. I want to see the average. I mean, there are some spikes here and there, you know. It sits over 10 frames, it sits like 15 frames, and it's very, very weird, because even the wattage is on 300. What the? After averaging the FPS, you can actually see that the system is doing okay. There is no problem on this, so I will say an overall performance is kind of great, you know, with no upscaling, low details. If I have to play tomorrow again Cyberpunk, or continue doing the missions with another LAN, I will take this. Low details, no upscale, 1080p, and I think this video card can actually deliver. 51, 52 degrees on the GPU with maximum core load. You can actually see even like this looks fantastic. But we're not stopping here. We have to go a little higher. System, 10 gig of system RAM. The CPU is doing okay, 50-60% load on the CPU, and nearly 60 degrees on the CPU. So it's being utilized, you know, the computer. But now it's time to actually see some upscale. Can use Fidelity FX super sampling. I'm going to start with auto. 3 gig of VRAM being utilized, 100% render scale. It's doing okay, you know, 70-80 FPS on average. I would say this is quite nice. The more FPS I get, can actually see yeah, the more wattage is consuming. So if I put it on ultra performance, look at this. It looks even a little worse, you know, but it's doing much better. It's reaching 90 FPS on average. It looks exactly like I imagined, because it looks very pixelated, and every single time I'm moving, I can actually see that upscaling option. What the f are you doing? There is some cases you can actually see it with ultra performance. I have a chance to I can actually bring the frame time under 10. I got 7, 8, 9. That's exactly how I want it. 51 minimals. So in this case, I get the best performance ever. With ultra performance, I get 2.8 gig of VRAM utilized and nearly 100 FPS on average. So I like it. I like how it's working. I like everything about this. And yeah. But if we're jumping in Starfield with this video card, you can actually see it's trying to do the job. Seriously, this video card and this computer. On the display, I got 1080p with low details, with upscaling, FSR, and frame generation on. So this is the only way in order for you to get playable FPS. I think that if you move this quality to higher, I think it's still possible to actually play it like this. But only one thing that I'm interested with this low details and FSR frame generation is that to have 60 FPS on average. You know, I know there will be dips and spikes because I got on this quality 16 on frame time. So this is actually okay, you know, even if it's like this, because I can work around with this. So if I get 60 FPS on average, 53 on minimal, I think this is an actually playable experience, you know, if I want to play Starfield with this computer, you know. Look at this. In some cases, it's dropping to 3 on minimal, and I really don't like it. Seriously, I think this is a fantastic video card, but it needs to be cheap. I think in some cases, there's only a couple of moments that I see that this video card requires more than 4 gig of VRAM. Majority of the time, I play with medium details or even low details in order to get that high FPS. But if I choose that quality preset, then I don't need 8 gig of VRAM. In this case, this is the only thing it's justifiable, is to have 8 gig of VRAM if you're interested on playing games with maximum details. But if you're interested in playing games with maximum details, majority of the time the core will be bottlenecking, you know. So in this case, you actually managed to see today how it's performing overall with this 590. 590 is a very good option if you find it cheap. 580 is still a very good option if you're interested on getting something similar, but it needs to be cheap. But the cheapest one that you can find today, I think, are the RX video cards like this from this series with 4 gig of VRAM, and those are the one that I'm recommending. This at this stage with this amount of money, I don't recommend it. Seriously, it's too much. 8 gig of VRAM for this amount of power this video card has on the core. No, I think with 4 gig of VRAM I will get away. I do appreciate having it, you know, and I will gladly show it more in all kinds of situation and do more benchmark with the video card. But even today, I'm reluctant to say this is a very good video card to buy, because yeah, you cannot use that 8 gig of VRAM without lagging, you know. So if you put lower to medium details, I think yeah, it will be sufficient to have 4 gig that is cheaper than this one. This is only my opinion. What do you think about this video card? But do remember, if you have any suggestion for this video card or for the system, leave a comment and I will see you very soon.